Greetings and salutations! We are returning back to the workshop to charge up before the sandstorm hits. It's a bit worrying I need to charge up daily. You'd think like a complex bit of kit like this would have a battery that could last several days. Perhaps it's just topping me up, but still worrying. Day 8. You have new tasks in your mission log. Hell of a sandstorm last night. Did you hear it? Not sure about the full extent of the damage yet, working on some quick fixes. Did hear some commotion over at the chapel a while ago. Maybe you should go and take a look. I'm not going anywhere near that place if I can help it. Things gonna get better around here, right? How are you feeling today? Why did I ever come here? Well, the place doesn't look too bad. There's a few bits of pipe and stuff knocked over. You'd think these little things would be all over the place, but yes, I should be checking our mission log. Desecration. There's been an incident at the chapel. You should go investigate. Okay. Now, here's another big decision. Day 8 is where it all kicks off. I've got to head to the chapel. And here it is. See this little thing in front of me? Looks like there's a discarded syringe lying on the ground. How did it get here? This changes quite a few things, so we'll be taking that. Seems like it might be important. Okay. And then we're going to go in here. She's alive. It would appear to be the very same affliction the governor is suffering. No obvious signs of physical trauma, just a sudden collapse. At least she's still breathing steadily. Poor Hannibal, this is going to hit Chet hard. Malice too. There's no security cameras here in the chapel. The perpetrator must have been aware of that. You say you just walked out of your quarters and found her like this, Jonah? Yes, indeed. Just lying here in the deepest of sleeps. Do you have any theories, Walden? I'm a doctor, not a detective. Perhaps that's a question for our security chief. Of course I have a theory. We're all thinking the same damn thing. Last night the preacher tells us that this isn't over and this happens right here in the chapel. It's a pretty big coincidence if you ask me. I don't appreciate your false accusations. Sorry, Jonah, he has a point this time. Carter, I want you to place this man under arrest. What? This is madness. Quiet down, preacher. You're coming with me. I mean, it's quite easily a frame-up as well. I must complete my examination before moving her to a medical. This may take some time. Very well, Doctor. I will leave you to your work. Meet me at headquarters. Believe it or not, we have another emergency on our hands. Oh yes, Melis mentioned she wanted to see you about something. Sounded important. So we've got lots of things to do today. Okay. Don't disturb me. Now, due to our earlier choices is the reason Hannibal was knocked out. Sadly, because she's unconscious, we will not be getting her ending, and she's got the ending I really, really want, which is very annoying, but since we're going through a no one dies playthrough, sadly her ending is unavailable in those situations. You need to have some people die for that to occur. So, first things first. We want to go to the laboratory. You said you had something for me. Converse. You wanted to see me? Yes, don't let me keep you if you have more important work. I heard about what happened at the chapel. I really hope Hannibal is going to be okay. I don't know what I would do without her. Sigh. Anyway, the work must go on. I have information about those creatures we encountered out by the Rockies. I managed to cross-reference those samples I took with recent data gathered by a team of xenobiologists over at Beta Station. Apparently your neighbours have met these monsters as well. I'll transfer the information to your database. Snagger has been added. Oof has been added. Something else. Examining that tentacle monster, which is called a snagger apparently, I managed to sever one of the tentacles and bring it back here for closer study. Though it seemed to be as dead as a door now, a very strange thing happened when I fed it some nutrients. It came to life in just a moment. It wrapped around my arm, gave me quite a scare. Since then it hasn't moved at all. I want you to try an experiment for me. This may be the strangest sentence I've ever uttered, but I want you to take this severed tentacle outside and wave it around at a couple of animals. Try a large animal and a small animal. If you can find them, it would be interesting to hear the results. Maybe something will happen, maybe it won't. We'll see. So I will tentacle small critters and big critters. In the meantime, here's a syringe. I want you to examine it. And I wonder if there's anything to do with Hannibal. Let me see that. Some kind of purple residue inside. Interesting. I'm going to run some tests on this. It could be important. Thanks. And that is a very important step if you want to ensure everybody lives. Now, we did see some little critters around here, but they seem to have moved, so going back up. Alright, we have a big old lug here. Oops. I'm going to use an item. Wave the severed tentacle on it. Once you pull up the tentacle, it suddenly rips forward, wrapping around the legs of the large creature. The lug grunts and eyes you unhappily. With some effort and patience, you are eventually able to detach the tentacle from the animal's leg. Once you retrieve it, the tentacle returns to its docile and seemingly lifeless state. Now, what happens when you do it to this critter? As soon as you produce the severed tentacle in the presence of the scarab, it comes to life, spinning out like a whip to try and grab a hold of the creature. The scarab just about manages to evade the attack and quickly scurries away from you. Return to the professor with your findings. Tentacle responded aggressively to both a scarab and a bug. Fascinating, I'm sure it was dead. Could this be some form of anastasis? It's also interesting that this one's severed limb can continue to survive independently of the rest of the creature. Remarkable. Xenobiology is not my field, but I will transfer this information to Beta Station the next available opportunity. Thank you for your help. You can leave that tentacle with me. Jeez, this really has been a weird day. Okay. And creatures database. We have a hool. At present, very little is known about the giant flying creatures called the ahools. They are nocturnal hunters usually sighted in the rockier regions of the desert. Ahools also appear to be fairly aggressive, which may prove an impediment to future study. And then we had a snagger. Ugh, that thing looks like a roper from D&D. For the weirdest thing I've seen in all my time on this planet, snaggers are medium-sized creatures that spend almost their entire lives beneath the sands of the desert, reaching out above ground with their long feelers to snag any unsuspecting prey and drag it below ground where it would be suffocated and then devoured. So, fully unpleasant creatures. Okay, she's not got my scans on that syringe ready, but now we have... Piers wants me to help him. First things first, I'm going to see if I can actually talk to Jonah and Carter. First, damn this place, damn it to hell! First, the light of truth will reveal my innocence. I mean, we don't even have a holding cell. You'd think we'd have something that we could crudely use as a holding cell. So far, he's just been forced to sit next to the bunk in a place full of guns. I hope those guns are gene coders or something, so they can't be fired by anyone but Carter or people he, you know, puts into the system. Ooh, before we forget. So What do you know about Beta Station? What kind of work do they do out there? A xenobiologist mainly, studying the fauna of the planet. Annabelle tells that Professor Sylar and a team are an unusual bunch. Unusual? Well, apparently some of them aren't even real scientists, just random folk that Sylar picks up on his travels. Weirdest thing is, Sylar actually wanted to come and study here. He could have taken his team anywhere in the galaxy. Why the hell would anyone choose to come to Auritus? Think yourself, I think this planet is pretty amazing. Well, you're a man of singular taste, Hurley. Do you think Deer's going to be okay? Sure, she'll be fine. How about the rest of us? That I'm not so sure about. Okay, so now to Piers. Me to you to me. Okay, I don't believe it. How can things keep getting worse? One mysterious illness is bad enough. Now we have two victims of the same thing. To be honest, I'm not even convinced that Jonah is behind any of this. You're a social AI. Maybe you should go talk to him. See if he opens up to you. It's your choice. If you don't think it would help, then don't worry about it. More urgently, I need to contact Professor Sylar at Beta Station to update him on our situation. Fortunately, that Sandstorm hit us pretty hard last night. We prayed as best as we could, but it still took a beating. Damage could be much worse, so at least there's that. The main problem is our transmitter has been damaged. It looks like the strong winds have detached the satellite dish. It can't have been carried very far. I just need you to find it and reattach it so I can contact Beta Station. Counting on you. Find that dish and fix the transmitter. New task. Well, this is relatively easy and it's very short. Let's go over here. We've already seen the dish as we've wandered by. Now, as you can see over here, these two little guys are fighting over the dish because they really like round, shiny things. We've already read their profile, so that's a fun little thing. So all you have to do is go back in here. What do you mean they're fixed to the... Why are the plates fixed to the display? Alright, fine, I'll take this one. That makes no sense. I can't take the dish from the dish rack. I've got to take the one off the table. So, you go back over here. You use the dish. You swap the two round. And before the two creatures can react, you quickly snatch up the satellite dish and replace it with an ordinary dish from the mess hall. The Dittos show no sign of objecting. This prize actually be worth more than the last. Now there remains to reattach this dish to the transmitter and make sure it's properly configured. See, that dish is much bigger than this one and a lot shinier. So, use item toolbox. We reattach the fallen satellite dish, which is a fairly straightforward task, as it only takes a short while for you to reconfigure the transmitter for a second time. There's a report of success. And before we do that, I'm going to go back over here. And we're going to have a word with him. Now, to make sure Jonah survives, you've got to have helped him throughout the whole game, like talking nicely to him, helping him get the little obelisks up around the place, arcoliths, there we go. And now we've got to make sure he's okay. Now, Professor Piers has given me the permission to interview about these allegations. Has he? I must attend to my prayers, droid. I'll answer but one question. Answer one question. What will it be? All right. Did you have anything to do with this? How are you holding up? Did you hear anything last night? Who do you think was really responsible? Now we already know he didn't hear anything, and he was completely unaware what's going on. He'll say no to that. He'll probably say, I don't know. The planet is punishing us probably with his old thing. So how are you holding up is the way you want to ask. That is not the question I expected you to ask. I will be fine, droid. This is not the first test of my faith. I'm sure of one thing. The truth will be revealed in time. Now let me return to my prayers. There we go. But showing concern for him makes him more friendly towards you, which means when he has his further crises of faith, he's more likely to rely on you. Then it appears. Down we go. The moment the priest Jonah is our prime suspect, I'm not entirely convinced though. Why was I not informed of this sooner? Apologies for the break in communications. Professor, a severe sandstorm knocked out our transmitter last night. Had you taken the usual precautions? Yes, we did. The damage could have been much worse if we hadn't. Indeed. Well, it sounds you're keeping on top of things for the moment. I'll see you tomorrow, Professor Piers. Over and out. Nice work in fixing that transmitter. I've already made contact with Beta Station. Professor Sardar will be travelling here first light tomorrow. He should arrive shortly before our relief flight shuttle. I know for sure I will be glad not to be commanding officer anymore. I don't know how anyone does this job. Anyway, good work. Much appreciated. And that is all our tasks for the day. I believe so anyway. I think everything will come to a head tomorrow. Night has fallen. It is time to go recharge. And with that, I think that's this episode coming to an end. Since we're getting on one a day, and tomorrow is going to be a very long day indeed. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope this helps and you're entertained.